Yes, hello again. I thought I would make one more video clip pertaining more to our family. This one, the effect of the Como marriage scandal on our sons and daughters. So I'll mention some background events that had happened. I've mentioned this on some of my booklets. The first marriage separation we had was in May of 1997, and I've mentioned in one booklet there we had been for 2 months in my family and I in Pierre's Bible study group for 2 months, and after that I became more aware that there were errors in Pierre's teachings, and I had told my family it was better to leave Pierre's group and to go to another church. So we did leave the Pierre's group. And at that time, Pierre had, in his Bible study group in the Shetty Camp area, Pierre had only 5 to 6 people. So when we were there, our family. And so we left and leaving only that amount. And so my wife felt bad about us leaving, and I believe I mentioned this on an earlier video. I didn't realize. I'm just going to review a few points and get to something new. And so maybe I should go get to the new part right now. What I wanted to mention was that Pierre's teachings on our sons and daughters did not give them a good foundation, like a foundation for Christian growth. And I mentioned in the earlier videos the Pierre's doctrines, and that the saved by faith alone and the eternally saved, once saved, always saved, how this puts people in a false security. So I believe this did happen to our sons and daughters, that they were in a false security. They were not Christian, false Christian security according to their faith. And as they grew from teenagers into the world, the influences of the world, and more self-interest, of course, we have to consider this. This put together caused most of them to drift away from the faith, to the point that now some of them they're just plain backsliders. They don't read the Bible at all. They don't go to church. So I'm attributing the drifting away from the Bible principles in the church to the two reasons. One, like the interest in the world and their self-interest, and that's definitely a part of it. But the fact that Pierre did not teach them correct teachings on the responsibility of a Christian, that I explained some in chapter 6 and chapter 7. As a direct result of that, I feel that influenced them to drift away. So I'll mention their present state today to clarify this. Now, Jeremy, was a godly person, read the Bible, and a saved person, like really. And now he's living in Calgary, and he's just abandoned the faith altogether. I've spoken to him on the phone, and that he doesn't read the Bible at all, doesn't go to church. And we were discussing certain points in the Bible that he did not agree with. I won't go into detail, but he's just totally turned against the Bible and going to church and all that stuff. He doesn't interest him. That's Jeremy, the oldest son. The second son's name is Gaston. He's drifted away too when he was young, reading the Bible and that, and he's a backslider also. Doesn't read the Bible, doesn't go much to church, maybe once in a while. But when we talk, he doesn't talk about Bible principles or stuff. So he's drifted away from the faith. The third son is Francois. Francois, he's done a little better. I believe he goes to church sometimes. Thank God for a godly wife. His wife is a godly person, and I think it encourages Francois to go to church with her. And so but speaking to him on the phone and that, he doesn't come out with Bible principles though at all. You can tell he's drifted away from the Bible, but not as much as his two older brothers. Now Natalie, I believe also, my oldest daughter, also goes to church, and she'd be more similar to Francois. She goes to church, but doesn't support Bible principles like she should. And I'll mention something about Natalie. When the children were young, I did homeschooling, Christian homeschooling for 3 to 4 years. And me teaching Natalie, she did her primary grade and grade 1 in 1 year. She did 2 school grades in one with me teaching her. And later when she went to public school, they checked her. I told them that at public school, well, they said, we'd like to check her, if she's able to go in the next grade up. And they did, and she was fine. And now she's a doctor, a medical doctor in Williams Lake, BC. And I'd like to also, we'll go to Angel. Angel, the youngest daughter. I was again doing Christian homeschooling with her on the day that Honora left with the children. I mean, all that school term, I was doing Christian homeschooling with Angel. And the point I want to make here is the point that's significant that I want to bring out is that here we were a Christian family. We were saying grace at the table at mealtime, and every evening after supper we had a family Bible reading. And with the Christian homeschooling, and I was trying to teach them Christian Bible principles. And when Honora left with the children and took them to the Pierre cult, by him, the way he was teaching that I described in chapter 6 and 7, a lot of the guitar music and the social club aspects of it, and very minimal on the principles of Christian living. So what they had learned from me over the years, it deteriorated and to some extent broke up in the Pierre cult, and then as they grew. So it seems to me that Honora did a mistake, a serious mistake, by pulling the family away from the Christian atmosphere and the Christian teachings and the moral values and that I was clearly teaching them, to take them to the Pierre cult where they were not taught these same Bible principles, and some of them even discredited some, because I know Pierre's teaching. I mean, I was with him for 5 years, so some of the teachings that I would have taught my children, Pierre would have discredited them. So I believe that Honora made a serious mistake by leaving that time. I mean, she did believe she was doing the proper thing. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Honora. She's my wife, and I've mentioned in my video there, on a scale of 1 to 10, she's a 10, and she's still a 10 today. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Honora, but I believe she made a serious error when she took the children away to take them to the Pierre cult, the way things went and the way that they're all the five of them, their Bible principle values have eroded to the extent they did. I believe Honora did make a serious mistake by pulling the children away from the Christian teaching and the moral values that they were brought up on. And you people that are viewing this video that live in the Shetty Camp area, that personally know our 5 sons and daughters, you know that how they, they had respect for other people, and they were polite, and they were respect. Different people have told me over the years, how they were polite and respectful sons and daughters. It was very easy to tell that they had a modest character, a good character, respectable character. And I mean, I suppose I could take some of the credit for that, for teaching them that. And Honora too. Honora and I both taught them, tried with good values, but it's from the Bible. I mean, we were reading the Bible and teaching them the Bible values. So I guess we did our part in teaching them, but it was the Bible values we were teaching. So it all gets together, my teachings and Honora teaching them, and the Bible values we were teaching them. It all goes together. So, and another point I was going to mention now, in Pierre's cult, he recommends the supporters that when they can to pay in 10% of their income. So I was calculating that, I believe it was last week, 10% of Honora's income working at the senior home there, and the money she had before that, in a 20-year span, would add up to about $35,000 to $40,000. So it helps to understand the reason behind why Pierre would so rigidly support the marriage restoration and be willing to go through a scandal and hold such a firm grip against our marriage to maintain Honora's level of support on his cult. Why I'm saying this is to help to explain why the marriage scandal was so strong, so dirty with Pierre, directly interfering in our marriage, and why it lasted so long. The money, like $35,000 to $40,000, paid to Pierre to help maintain the cult, and her every week in these 3 to 4 of Pierre's programs, church programs, and her cleaning at the cult clubhouse there just south of Shetty Camp, cleaning and helping to maintain the clubhouse. I mean, Honora does give a lot of credibility and influence and prestige to that cult. I'm saying this so you understand, you viewers, the reason that Pierre is so rigid. Pierre won't budge on helping to restore the marriage. I mean, not an inch. But I think the Lord is still helping in this situation. We'll see how things go. But even with Pierre being demon influenced by these demons of control, like control and manipulation, and that the way he's not respecting Bible principles on marriage, as I've mentioned in my other videos. I'm just about to finish here now, but I just wanted to mention those points, that the evidence shows. The main point I wanted to show in this video clip was that, surprisingly, the children did not grow that much spiritually. And you people that personally know Honora, Honora herself has not grown that much. I mean, I've talked to Honora in the past. She's been 20 years in that cult, imagine. Every week, and these 3 to 4 Bible studies, imagine now. She was a Christian before she went to Pierre's cult. And 20 years in a Bible study cult, 3 to 4 programs a week. And I believe, I'd be curious to know this, and one day I might just know this. I would like to ask Honora, what do you know now that you did not know 20 years ago when you joined the Pierre cult? I intend to ask Honora that question one day and see what she would say. Like if she learned anything at all in the Pierre cult in 20, I'd be curious to know what she learned in 20 years in the Pierre cult that she didn't know before. The way I see it there, I've been watching the videos on the internet, and there's different, and I've gone with Pierre 5 years and seen the video, and what I've seen of Pierre, he doesn't teach very much in Bible principles and Bible verses. Pierre, what I've seen of it personally and on his videos, and when I went to his church there a few years ago, it's constantly the same repetitions. It's selected Bible verses constantly repeated to his supporters, and there's very little growth, very little Christian growth. Anyway, thank you for your time, and have a nice day to you.